Yeah, we live. That's crazy that it's set off with that type of sound effect. It's appropriate. Flatbush, what up? New York, what up? The world, what up? I'm here with my guy, my bro, friend of the platform. Like I told him, man, our platform is his platform. My good brother, Lieutenant Edwin Raymond, retired. Salute my guy. Salute. How you been, man?
I've been all right, King, day by day. You know what I mean? Stepping into this different platform, continue to do the work, but from the outside. You know what I mean? I felt after 15 years, you know, I made the decision at 18 years old, right? Literally standing on the corner of Newkirk and East 25th, right? I made the decision. I said, you know what? I'm gonna join this police department so I can see why this keeps happening. And 15 years, you know, after I've done it, I said, all right, I'm good to go. I did what I could from the inside. I'm ready to do what I can now from the outside. You know what I mean?
Right. So it was that time. You feel like you got all your connects, you got all your stripe, you got all the insight from the inside. Now you're gonna look from the outside. That's what's up, man. You had an incident or something like that happened at 18. Was it when you was 18 when you made that decision? Or was it before 18?
Oh, nah, 18, man. 18. I'm on Newkirk and East 25th. I just came from my man crib. I was with my shorty at the time. We was walking to the train station. And, you know, I saw the car slowing down. They was looking at us, but I'm thinking, you know, I'm with her. They're going to leave me alone. They hopped right out, put me right on the fence, and started taking everything out of my pocket, man. I was embarrassed. I didn't understand. And listen, Newkirk East 25th. Anybody from Flatbush knows it could get hot. You know what I mean? It could get hot, but I wasn't involved. I wasn't involved in that. You know what I mean? It was my mans. It was people I grew up with. It was people I knew well, people to this day I consider family, but I wasn't in it. I wasn't doing it. I didn't understand why I needed to be treated that way. But what was different about that is it was a black cop. You feel me? All the incidents I've had with cops prior to that, they were all white boys. You understand? It's funny because I ran into that cop after I became a cop.
Really?
And yeah, 6'7", he was still in the 6'7" precinct.
Right,
and he looks at me. So I'm in uniform. I walk in for my lunch break. He sees me, and I'm like, yo, what's up? So he quickly looks at my name, you know, my badge. He was like, oh, Raymond. But I could tell he didn't know who I was. I was like, you don't remember me, do you? Yeah. He was like, I was like, Newkirk, East 26, East 25th. He was like, the kid with the pit bulls. I used to have a dog, and I used to walk my man's dog. You know what I mean? My man Z always had the dog. So, you know, we had a lot of dogs on the block. And he was like, oh shit, you did it. Because I told him one time, I said, yo, I'm gonna join the police force one day. And then he was like, so you see how it is, right? And what he was referring to was the pressure that cops are on, man, these quotas, you know what I mean? And it's funny because he was like, yo, this kid, he was like, yo, I met this kid in front of the Twin Slums. I'm like, the Twin Slums? I said, Dad, that's such a call my bed. They call it the Twin Slums.
Right.
Yeah, on the two buildings between East 25th and East 26, they call it the Twin Slums.
Right,
and,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I know. I was like, damn, that's crazy. No, you really gonna respect somebody you call they building the twin slums? You know what I mean?
And that's an automatic target, so they know exactly what the target, especially when it deals with numbers. So you know, you fast forward just a little bit, and now you're in the seat, like you said, you see how it is, and right away, did you see that? Did you feel that pressure?
Yo, they won out of the academy. If anything, in the academy, I was left confused. Like, wait, I know what I go through. I know what my brothers and sisters go through. I'm not seeing it in the training though. Like, there's nothing about this training that's making it clear.
Is it like a blind eye training, or is it just like we're not going to address this issue? It's just like what do you mean you didn't see it in the training?
Well, it's illegal. So in the academy, they go by the curriculum. You know what I mean? But what they asking us to do in terms of quotas, it's illegal. So they're not going to teach us that in the academy. When you get out, they throw these numbers at you. And the numbers for me was 4, 10, and 10. I'm like, 4, 10, and 10, what's that? 4 arrests, 10 summonses, and 10 stop and frisk every month. And that's the bare minimum.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. And let me tell you, arrests, if you could get petty with arrests, you could get petty with some.
What happened?
You lost me? So I was saying, yeah, you could get petty with arrests. You could get petty with summonses, meaning you're just looking for any little thing.
Right.
But the one thing you cannot justify and get petty is stop and frisk. You need certain elements there. If you do a stop and frisk without those elements, you're violating the Bill of Rights. You're violating the Constitution, the Fourth Amendment. You understand? And that's why the lawsuit back in 2013, Floyd versus the city of New York, it killed illegal. Well, it suppressed illegal stop and frisk. You feel me? But what it didn't touch was the arrest and the summonses, and that's where I came in.
And at that time, it was probably a little different too, because like the quality of life laws was different. So all this weed that's being smoked now, at that time, you could catch people for roaches and clips and just all kind of madness in public, man.
65% of all arrests were marijuana related for 30 years. All arrests was marijuana related. Like that's the number one reason people end up in cuffs.
And it was always something that was kind of like could have been decriminalized already, right? People didn't have to be arrested for it, but it made it.
King, no, yeah, you could have gotten the summons, but they never opted to do the summons. I remember there's white boys from Long Island that were very shocked to learn that we get arrested for suspended license. I was like, really? They said they get summonses for that out in Nassau and Suffolk. I said, really? I've been watching since I was a kid. I've been watching people get locked up.
Yeah, you getting out the car. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Exactly. But again, New York City is more aggressive because they're policing us like that. You understand?
Is the term, like, I know I always see the term whistleblower as far as is that a derogatory term? Is that a positive term? Like, just so I'm clear, I don't know.
It's supposed to be positive, but inside the police department is rat, snitch. They don't say whistleblower. You're a rat. You're a snitch. You know what I mean?
So is that taught in the academy? Can you hit that AC?
Not in the academy. Again, the academy is one thing, but then there's an entire culture after. You feel me?
Silence and all that.
Exactly.
And does that hit day one?
Day one. Day one.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. Like I remember before we spoke, for the people who's just tapping in, you know, this is the bro. Like I said, we chopped it up before. We're gonna get into, you know, he had ran for office. He had the documentary that came out with the whole whistleblower situation where he, you know, was kind of he exposed the numbers pretty much, and you could pretty much articulate it better than me. But I just wanted to make sure that people knew, because I remember we spoke before. You gave me an instance where, you know, I asked you like, what was the craziest thing you ever said? We're not gonna get into it because it was crazy. But what was the first time you ever had an instance where you had to kind of do this new police changing that you want to do or that you wanted to see? You had a lot of instances like that?
What do you mean? Like
where you had to actually step in and tell, like, nah, we can't do this, y'all. Like, this is dead wrong. Like did you have to
I mean, yeah, it got to a point where they wouldn't even do it if I was around, because they knew, you know what I mean, I wasn't with it. You know what I mean? But it's frowned upon. You're not, like right now, that, you know, it's called active bystander. You know, there's something called active bystander training where if you see an officer engaged in something, you got to step in, but that's frowned upon in the culture. So when I was doing that, you know, like people complained to the sergeant about me. You understand?
Step in and de-escalate and do the thing.
Exactly. Yeah, it's frowned. Basically, don't ever look like you're going against another cop in the public. If you want to say something afterwards, do that. But in the public, we got to move as a unit.
Unified, right?
Yeah, but today there is active bystander. You know, after George Floyd, things changed. Right. So there is active bystander training where you're encouraged to step in now. You know, but in the culture, you're really not. But in terms of instruction, they have to say it. But in the culture, you're still not expected to do that.
Somebody asked in the comment where you were, and I had this, I was going to ask you this too. I was going to wait a minute, but I see you sound like you were a target while you were in the force. They didn't want to say certain things around you. Afterwards, are you good now? Like outside of work, different things like that? How do you feel?
Listen, man, I'm good with my people, man. You know what I mean? For me to take on this type of fight, being a student of history, there's nothing I haven't accepted. You know what I mean? You either understand what I'm saying or you don't.
I definitely.
Listen, I'm a young man. I deserve to live a full life, but I've accepted everything. If you know what I mean.
No, you will. You will. Yeah. It's not that type of thing that I think about sometimes. We don't know what happens after that. But my thing is just the harassment during time. Sometimes you know you can live a full life with that type of thing too. But hopefully, you know, I would think that people will want good policing. I know in the streets, people kind of frown upon police. What's your reaction with us in the community with the police? It's just get out of here.
I keep it real with you, man. when I first joined, I would go back because I'm still in Flatbush. I'm just a little further east. But when I go back on my block, Newkirk, within 5 minutes of me pulling out, everybody's gone. Everybody would clear out. Yeah, it was like,
right.
Yeah, Edwin is here. We out. We don't know what he's up to. But then in February 2016, you know, the New York Times article that first made me officially a whistleblower. When that dropped, the whole block showed love. They was like, damn, E, you never forgot us. I said, how could I, man? Like, this is, I know one, I know where I fall on the food chain. Two, I know where home is. Three, like, come on, man, like, it's me. You understand? Like, they was like, yo, you didn't just go in there and be a good cop. You went in there and challenged them. You went in there to move the whole system. Like, that's different. So it's all love now when I'm on Newkirk. Like, and it's funny because, you know, over time people move in and out, but you know, there's a lot of new faces on my block, but they will educate the new people. Like, when I come through, they be like, yo, him is all love. You know what I mean? So shout out to my block, always hold me down. When I was writing my books, you know, my book's about to come out in 5 days. When I was writing my book, I went on my old rooftop, 2516 Newkirk. I went on the old rooftop a few times because when I'm there, I'm at peace. It's my base. You know what I mean?
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah.
So talk about the book. Let's get into that. What's name? What's it about? What should we expect?
Yeah. So it's called An Inconvenient Cop. I actually have it right here. Let me pull it out for y'all.
That name is ill, man. That's an ill name, bro. Like,
listen, man.
did you feel that, or did somebody give you that name? Like,
you know what? It was several names, but that's the one that won the competition. You feel me? Because it just spoke so true about the whole, you know, the whole fight. My fight to change policing in America is the subtitle. You know, got the ice, gold, and green. Pan-Africanism. Anybody that knows me understands. This is listen, man. This is I ripped my chest open and poured my soul into this. You know what I mean? Any and everyone from Flatbush is gonna appreciate this book. You know, because I had a few people read it as a sample, and people was like, "Yo, it's nothing like reading a book when there's a reference made that you know because it's your block, it's your neighborhood." You know what I mean? I'm not the first author from Flatbush, but this is a major book deal with Penguin Random House. You know, Viking Books is the #1 publisher in the world. Major book deal from a Haitian kid from Newkirk. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I get right into it on Saturday at King's Theater. You know, I'll be presenting this to the world. 3 days before it drops. 3 days before it actually drops. It comes out October 17th. And you know, I'm from Flatbush. One of my best friends got shot right in front of my face in front of King's Theater 20 years ago on Juve night. You know, shout out to Hobby. Thankfully he made it. He's a professional dancer now. Like, from Flatbush, I've been fighting for Flatbush. You know, I'm doing this for Flatbush. I'm doing this in Flatbush, and I need Flatbush to be in that theater. You know what I mean? I need everybody there, but there shouldn't be an empty seat in that theater. We've had everybody in that theater.
Right.
This is somebody from home.
Right. Home team.
You know, there shouldn't be an empty seat in that theater. You feel me? And you know, I'm a little embarrassed to say this, but the tickets ain't moving like I had imagined they would. I thought Flatbush would have been proud. Like, we love when somebody's from on it. Like Michael K. Williams, man. When I found out Omar was from Vid, you know, the pride that went through my soul.
Right. That's how I feel. You know how I feel with this too. Like, it's funny.
Brother.
I was looking for a picture of you earlier to use. I wound up using the book cover, but when I was looking for the picture, the first picture I saw was you and Mike, and I was like, wow. You know, it was in a couple of different spaces. But a couple of things. Where can we get the book from? And where can we get, not the book, where can we get the tickets from? That's what I was thinking. Where can we get the tickets from?
So go on kingstheater.com. Those that follow me on Instagram, you know, e.raymond_, just put it Edwin Raymond. You can't miss me. My page is verified. You'll see the line. You'll see a little Haitian flag. It's the link in my bio. Those who follow Sean King, he just made it the link in his bio. You know, I got Dr. Ilyasa Shabazz. Those who don't know, that is the daughter of Malcolm X. I got Tamika Mallory, the Princess of Harlem. We got the public advocate, Jumaane Williams, another Flatbush native. We got Terrence Floyd, you know, the brother of George Floyd. Saturday, when we're doing this event, it would have been George Floyd's 50th birthday. You know what I mean? And we have my brother Malik Yoba, you know, who now lives in Brooklyn, originally, you know, born in the Bronx. He's going to be interviewing me on the stage. You know, as a young boy, I used to watch New York Undercover. You feel me? I never thought I'd be a cop, but I knew if I wanted to be a cop, I could, because I used to watch J.C. Williams. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think it comes around full circle that Malik is going to be interviewing me on that stage. And we're doing something very unique. You know, it's a little bit of a surprise. We're doing something very unique. We got a lot of celebrities that are going to be there. And my team was like, maybe we got to put that out there. And I started doing that, but I'm like, nah, man, I'm home. I'm home. I'm not in Atlanta. I'm not in Chicago. We're going to make those stops. I'm home. I'm there. That's it.
Like you said,
needs to pull up because I'm there.
That's the fact. Like you said, that's the place where the events happen. That's right in the heart of Flatbush. Now we're gonna fill those seats. I didn't even think about that. I got a couple of things jotted down here. We're gonna fill those seats. And what about the book? Where's the book dropping at? Like, where's that going on?
Yo, so one of the beauties about having a major book deal, it's available everywhere. Every Barnes and Noble in the country, from Hawaii to Maine to Maryland to every
Amazon, probably.
Amazon, definitely Amazon, but anybody can book on Amazon. You know what I mean?
Right.
Barnes and Noble, Walmart, Target. You know what I mean? I'm buying a book from every Target I go into. I can't believe I have a book in Target. You know what I mean? Like, available everywhere, at the airport. That's the beauty about having a major book deal. Look at Penguin Random House, #1 publisher in the world.
Yeah, I just wrote that one down too.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, like, what do we expect in this book? Not an autobiography, not a biography. Is it talking about the plan for police change, things you see?
It's a memoir. It's a memoir, man. You're gonna learn a lot about me. There's a lot. You know, I get very, very vulnerable, very personal about my life growing up, because without that upbringing, without that the roots in Flatbush, I don't become the man with the strength and courage to do what I'm doing. You know what I mean? It never happens. So, you know, for those who have ever read the book, the autobiography of Assata Shakur, she starts it off where the first chapter, she just got shot. You with me, King?
Yeah, Mooch, I was looking for the book. I got it right here.
I got you. Yeah. So the first chapter, she gets shot. The second chapter, she's a little girl growing up in North Carolina. The third chapter is back to, you know, what happened, you know, with her being shot. The fourth chapter, now she's a teenager growing up in Queens. You know what I mean? So I kind of follow that pattern for the first part of the book, where the first chapter, I'm going to the police academy. The first time, I'm nervous, 22 years old. Second chapter, I'm 3 years old on Newkirk and my mother's dying. You know what I mean? Chapter 3, I'm back in the academy, and it's the first time in my life I'm around white boys, you know, outside of school. I went to Marine Park, so I was around a lot of white boys then. But after Marine Park, anytime I was around a white person, they had authority over me. They were cops. They were my boss. You know what I mean? They were some sort of authority. So for me to have them as peers is something that a lot of black people never experience. White people as your peers in large numbers. And in chapter 5, you know, I had moved to Florida. My father started losing it when my mom died. So I moved to Florida for 2 years, came back. And that's when the rough life started. You know, in 2 years, my father let himself go. You know, like, I don't want to ruin the book, but like, that's when it started. That's when it started. You know, like, my brother and I, we used to starve every weekend. You know what I mean? We would eat on Friday and our next meal would be on Monday. You know what I mean? Because we had to wait to eat at school. Like real rough life. You know what I mean? With no mom. My father was old. He didn't really get it. He was Haitian. He speak no English. You feel me? But he put the right things in me still. But at the same time, I'm growing up on Newkirk. I'm learning a lot about the streets. I'm 1 foot in the streets, 1 foot, you know, understanding life a little bit faster than my peers. You know, growing up a little faster than my peers. And then, you know, I don't want to ruin the book. You know what I mean?
No, I got you. You got me. Yeah.
Listen, put it this way. Right now, it's in the process of being filmed. Well, finding a house to be filmed. This is what I was going to do with my brother Michael K. You know, God rest his soul. It almost hurts me that I got to look somewhere else, because that's who I trusted with my story.
Right.
You know what I mean? Somebody grew up 4 blocks away from me. Last week, we got a call from a big studio that says they just passed on it, but it was not an easy pass. This is an amazing story. And, you know, they just passed on it. Like, one of the biggest actors in Hollywood. So, you know what I mean? I want Flatbush there when it's glitz and glamour and in Hollywood, but I need y'all here on Saturday. I need y'all here for what I got coming to Kings Theater on Saturday. You know what I mean?
That's a good momentum push into what you have going on. And I think it's a must, man. This is
Yeah.
I really want. Can we pre-order? Because I want mine here on.
Yeah. Pre-order
like,
started in May. Yeah, you can pre-order, man. But no, at King's Theater, the books are gonna be available for sale 3 days early there.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
King Theater is so monumental. Somebody in the comments says Newkirk has a crazy history too as well. It says, was it hard for you to be was it hard for you growing up there and then being a cop and coming back? Was that hard?
Honestly, man, because I knew I would never violate the hood, I would never violate my people. It was hard at first only because people didn't know that. And once you have the uniform, they think you're gonna be everybody else. They think you're gonna change like everybody else. But once it was clear that that's not what I was about, man, I love coming home, man. And you see it when I step on the block, it's all love.
What are some of your key principles in changing policing in America?
Yeah, so the very last chapter afterwards, I got some of these recommendations. So one of the things that I learned that I probably would have never even believed if I wasn't on the inside, a lot of cops don't even agree with the system, man. They just trying to pay their bills. You know what I mean? It's no different from the hustler. You don't want to see that fiend like that. You're just trying to pay your bills. You know what I mean? What's the number one hustler anthem? If he don't get it from me, he gonna get it somewhere else. So I might as well make this money, right? So it's like, if I stand up and I don't do this job, I'm gonna get fired. Somebody else gonna do it instead. I got a real opportunity to get my kids out the hood. I got a real opportunity to buy a house, to get a car, to be comfortable. You know, I don't like what they're asking of me. And this is why a lot of cops try to run from patrol. They try to go into like specialized units. They try to become administrative. That way they don't got to be out there. That's like everybody's trying to, the saying in the NYPD is patrol is for the birds. That's literally a saying. Nobody wants to do patrol, man. You know what I mean? It's not what people think it is. You understand? The problems that we mostly see with
part of self is that because of the quota thing, and is most of the pushing is out on them because they on the front lines, and I guess Texas stuff is doing other stuff.
Yeah, that's it. But the D's got quotas too. I mean, there's real detectives and there's who we call the D's just because they in plain clothes. They're not the D's. They trying to become the D's.
Right. They just police just get rid of what they want.
They get paid the same salary as blue and white. They just in an aggressive unit in plain clothes. They're not allowed to be in plain clothes no more. But before George Floyd, they would be in plain clothes violating us out here. You know what I mean? Because their quota is a more aggressive. They got to get 4 felonies. Whereas in blue and white, you just got to get arrested. It don't matter what it is.
Wow.
Yeah, they got to get 4 felonies. But the number one felony that they're chasing is the gun arrest. That's you. Let me tell you, nobody knows your name in the precinct. Like the 75th precinct, 500 people. You get a gun arrest, you're the most popular cop for a whole week. You know what I mean? That's how it works. Yeah. And I mean, the most popular cop for a whole week. Everybody knows your name now. When you're a rookie, you know, there's like a grazing period where you're hazed. Like the old timers don't speak to you. You get a gun, everybody knows your name. Everybody's showing you love. So now you like, shit, I got to get more guns, and you start doing more aggressive, more illegal things for those guns. You know what I mean?
Wow. Do you find that black people are more aggressive, trying to prove something? And you keep saying white boys, and I salute you for that, because I'm like, every time you say I lag, that's what we say. But I know you're comfortable because you probably been saying that. I know they probably say worse about us, but I don't want to stray away from the question. But I love that. But do brothers go harder than the white boys in the precinct, you think, sometimes?
Honestly, man, it's a spectrum. Not all. Some of them, you have those that are very hyper aggressive. You know what I mean? And we always say they're trying to prove themselves, etc. Not necessarily to the individual white boys. They're trying to prove themselves to the system to get ascension. They're trying to become the D's. In order for you to become a detective, you need your commanding officer to sign off on your paperwork, right? When you put in for the unit. Your commanding officer is only going to sign off if you make him or her look good. The way you make him or her look good is by meeting your quota. Because what happens is the commander in charge of the precinct, every few weeks, they have to go in front of the big chiefs. And the first thing the big chiefs look at is their arrest numbers for their whole precinct. And if there's an officer there that's getting a lot of arrests, they praise you for motivating that cop. If there's an officer there that's lower, doing to motivate that cop. You know what I mean? So now the commanding officer is pissed because they got to go back. And so they're putting the pressure on the lieutenant, on the sergeant to put it on that cop. I've had a lot of cop friends that went from wanting to do right to becoming hammers, right? One of my homegirls.
What do you mean hammers?
hammers is the term meaning like anything goes, just violent.
They're punching down on everything.
They violating everybody for anything. You can't. I'm talking about you bite into a jelly donut, the jelly comes out the donut, they're getting you for littering. I mean, I've seen it. That's a real scenario. You know what I mean? That's a real scenario.
I just added pop up. I don't know if you know we on.
What's good, King?
What's up, good brother? What's good? What's good?
Right. I'm good, man. We getting into this conversation. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry I'm late. You know what I mean? I had to check
it's all good.
With the family.
Yeah.
How you doing, Edward? How you doing?
I'm good, brother. Just 2 days away from this big event. I put a lot of work into this. Yeah, shout out to my team. We working hard around the clock. We doing something real special. This is not, by any means, this is not some normal book event. I would not be at home in a majestic place like King's Theater, asking my whole neighborhood to show up, to sit there and talk about a book and everybody go home. We're doing something very unique. That's why I got speakers. That's why I got Malik Yoba. We have a lot of celebrities in the audience, people that's been showing love for years. But forget them. I want my people. I want my Flatbush people.
Well, one thing for sure, we all Flatbush would definitely be there.
Yeah, that's love.
And we will spread the word tomorrow when we put this interview out.
Yeah.
We're gonna let everybody know that we're gonna tell our followers to
Come
be
on,
there.
Man.
We definitely will be in the building to see what's going on, videotape, and overtake everything that's going on. We'll definitely be in the building.
Yeah, that's love, man. Because again, I'm home. You know what I mean? I'm home. Like I want y'all. Every time I walk the streets and people's like, "Yo, I don't fuck with cops," but I see the work you're doing. I respect you. I'm proud of you. And you from Flatbush? You know what I mean? Well, this is it, Flatbush. Pull up. This is something real special. Pull up, please. Every book event that I'm doing, nothing is gonna be like this one.
Somebody in the comments said they are you doing a meet and greet afterwards, and can they get a picture with you? They put
Listen, we're doing a red carpet. So on the red carpet, we can take a picture there, and even after. Listen, yeah, that's nothing. You know what I mean?
Well, what we was talking about before you had got on too was did you finish writing this before you retired? And second part to that question is lead me into this retirement.
Yeah. So yeah, I finished writing the book December 14th last year, but I continued to make edits up until really August. Because when I was doing the audio book, I noticed a few more edits were needed. So I made edits all the way up to August. I left my career early, right? Because you got to do 20 years to receive a pension. I only did 15. I will get a pension in what would have been like 20 to 5 years from now, but it is severely reduced. And everybody said, "You crazy? You're a lieutenant, man. That's the money right there. Like when you hit lieutenant, that's where the money's at. Why would you walk away from that?" And I said, "Because I'm a man on a mission, man. Like even when I ran for office 2 years ago, city council makes $50,000 less than a lieutenant. You know what I mean? I was willing to take that cut because I'm not doing this for me. You feel me? Like, and this is a big risk. Listen, when you got a paycheck, a decent paycheck coming every 2 weeks, no matter what the stock market is doing, no matter who's buying tickets, no matter what's going on in the economy, to leave that comfort, to leave that safety net, and come out here like this. But it's the only way that I'm gonna do this work in a way that my people are gonna feel the benefits for generations. You know what I mean? So, it wasn't an easy decision, but I made the decision, and now I'm doing it.
Nah, you're gonna be good, man. And like you said, you got the insight. To me, when I was looking up just looking up what you had going on in the last since I spoke to you, I sort of retired. It was messing me up. I'm just like, damn, But then I thought about it, you got to do it because we need you on both sides, and I'm sure you still have connects with good people on the inside. I'm sure, right?
Oh yeah.
How do you feel about what's going on right now, looking from the outside? Let me be the first person to maybe ask you that since retirement. Looking from the outside in, how you feel about Eric Adams? How do you feel about he's an ex-cop?
That's a good one. Eric Adams. That's a good one.
How do you feel about that?
Ah, man.
I mean, I think he gets a harsh rap personally. I know my mother, she loves him.
Cool. Who you talking about?
Eric Adams, how he's, I guess I'm asking, bro, as far as policing. I see he made a major change with.
Yeah, that's a good.
I'm not sure what the.
That's a good one. You said Eric Adams, like as an ex-police or police, and seeing Eric Adams going through what he went through. How do you stand on that?
You know what, man? I gotta give Eric his flowers. Without Eric, I don't know if I exist. Because I remember, I'll never forget after Abner Louima. You know, I used to translate the news for my dad. So even though I was young, I was always aware because I used to have to, speak to my dad. And I'll never forget seeing Eric and the others, 100 blacks in law enforcement who cared. I'll never forget seeing them standing there speaking truth to power against Giuliani, standing up for Abner Louima, a Flatbush native that got violated. And I like what I saw. When I joined the police department in 2008, he had just became a state senator. And I ran into him and I told him, yo, I look up to you, brother. And we formed a relationship there. He was like a mentor. We've had a lot of conversations. He's been in my corner in my fight. Because to get to lieutenant, I had to fight each time for each promotion. You understand? Because they try to take my head off. They didn't want me to.
How many is that? How many different? What is that? Sergeant?
So it's police officer, detective, sergeant, lieutenant.
Each one is a test, right?
Well, the detective is not a test; it's discretionary. But for sergeant, you got to pass the test, and for lieutenant, you got to pass the test. There's only one more test after that, which is the captain. Anything above the captain is back to discretion. So I was only one test shy from captain, one promotion shy from captain. But because I knew I was leaving, I decided not to focus on that promotion.
I mean, like you said, he inspired you, so you're gonna spark, hopefully, 20 more minds that spark more minds. But
that's what I'm hoping, But what I have to say though is some of the things I'm seeing with him as mayor confuses me. Because the conversations I've had with him.
What confuses you?
Hold up.
It seems like the needle's going in the other direction again. You know what I mean? The jump out boys are more aggressive again. And these are conversations I used to have with him. So I don't understand what's going on. I'm not in the room, so could there be some bigger plan that I'm unaware of? Sure. But right now, the Eric that I know, if I could take him and teleport him to 2023, I think he'll be confused too.
Wow. I mean, they said you think maybe. I mean, I'm just looking from the outside in like everybody else, but I know that he had a problem with the lady that was in charge, and then they said, she had a problem with him, and it said he was over managing. Do you think that could be a possibility in things? Maybe it's a pushback from his troops.
In the city council, I wanted to be the chair of public safety because I was a cop. So it's hard that, something you've done. He was a cop for 22 years. So it's difficult. Even though he's in charge of the whole city, he was a cop for 22 years.
Right.
So I can understand why he's, very, what's the word?
Hands-on.
Like a micromanager when it comes to the police department. Because
But I mean, if somebody came and ran for office and they were educated, I'm sure they would be the same thing with the DOE. Or if somebody came on and with transit, I'm sure they would be focused on transit, making things more smoothly. So I would expect that would come with the territory. I wouldn't expect the hammers. I would expect them hammers to come back out, as you said.
That exactly. So I expect them to be there, right? But I expect them to be there based on conversations that I've had with them, not what I'm seeing now. I'm confused right now. You know what I mean? And this is not easy to talk about because, like I look up to the brother. I'm just confused right now.
And you have a relationship with him, so a lot of times, conversation can be uncomfortable. Like if you see me slacking, lacking, or whatever, you pull me to the side, be a little tight. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be a little whatever, but like
I feel that. I feel that.
You know what I mean? So sometimes those conversations we need to have. Sometimes in me, you think it's a little early though, because I think people are kind of critical on him. I think it's a little early.
I think people are critical all the time.
But people wasn't as critical with De Blasio. I'm not trying to go down a political thing. But he was there for 8 years, and you didn't hear anything. This bro was in here for a little bit of time, and I think
black.
He's black. I don't even want to play that. You think it might be that?
I mean, you don't want to play it, but it's
when you look at the media, there's things that the media focus on that I've never seen them focus on with a white man. There's certain things.
That's a fact.
But at the same, listen, I don't envy Eric, man. Between this migrant issue, like he got a lot to deal with, man.
I was about to ask you how you separate from him. I mean, I should put a question in between there, but that's on here about policing with the immigrant situation and just with Haiti in general. There's a lot of Haitians at the border. You know, my wife is Haitian, my daughter's Haitian. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's important. That's important for everybody, but Haitians hold a dear space in my heart. What's your take on how that's being handled as a whole, man?
Yeah, it's a lot, man. Like right now, there's a special program that under President Biden where you can sponsor someone in Haiti and they can be here and they can work and everything. And there's a lot of Haitians walking around Flatbush that are here under that program.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that because a lot of people don't know about
What can we find that at? State Department or something? Look that up. Look that on We Are Flatbush.
Yeah.
We need to find something about because you got a lot of people from other countries and they getting chastised from that. And look how you saying that people from Haiti come through and they get that love. You know what I mean?
As long as they have a sponsor, you sign up and it's Nicaragua. It's a few countries, but they added Haiti to it now. And there's literally thousands of Haitians in Flatbush, in New York, that are here under that program, and they're allowed to work. Usually, when you come here depending on the visa, you can't work. They're allowed to work, and they can apply for work.
Can you explain to that? Can you explain to the people how that works? Like, you're not a resident in New York City or resident in America, but you able to work. Can you explain that to our followers?
Yeah, it's a special program, and you have to have a host. Somebody has to host you and sponsor you. You understand? You can't just like walk up. Somebody has to apply for you. Then they have to put out their financial documents showing that they can support you. And then afterwards, there's an approval process, and the person gets the opportunity to travel here. But unlike most visas, where they just come to visit, vacation visas, this visa actually allows them to eventually apply and work.
That's deep.
I mean, I'm glad that Haiti is now on that list because Haiti always. I lived in Miami for some time, and I always used to watch the news, and it used to be crazy to me. You see Cubans running to the beach, and everybody got blankets, and then you see Haitians, and they pushing the boat back in the water, and I'm just like, and it'd be on the same news channel, and nobody's saying that. Like that's
the wet foot, dry foot policy, and that was only for Cubans. And I mean,
hold on.
For Cubans, right? That's only for Cubans.
Can you say that again, brother? You said wet foot what?
That's the wet foot, dry foot policy.
I never heard that. I've never heard this phrase before. So I know the million.
I'll break it down. Like, that's funny because that's
can you rephrase that phrase, please?
Yeah. So wet foot, dry foot. It was a policy about the Cubans. Basically, if the Cubans are caught in the sea, meaning their feet are still wet, they get turned back to Cuba. But if they even touch their toe in Miami or the Florida Keys, that the United States has to take them in as refugees.
Right.
But if your skin was a little darker and you spoke Creole, there was no policy for you, no matter what you're getting turned back.
That's crazy. I remember that. Man. They used to have that on the news. I used to always be like, wow, that's crazy. It's sad though. Let me ask you another question. We was talking about the term whistleblower, and then they say inside that term is considered to be a snitch, but it's a good term. As far as like confidential informants and snitches and stuff like that, how much of police work is based upon having a snitch or having a confidential informant?
Listen,
man. Everybody's a snitch.
Damn, that's a deep question, right?
Yeah. Listen, man.
Come on.
I mean, we probably have to have another conversation about snitching in general. Because there's different codes. One of the early codes is if you're in the game, you're in the game. If you're not in the game, you law abiding, you pay your taxes, you're different.
But I'm not talking about them people. I'm talking about.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about police.
How do you see it? Like as far as on the inside, do they rely on that, or is that something that's just given? Is whatever.
Listen, man. Probably 85-90% of shit would never be solved if it wasn't for that.
That's what I thought.
You either understand it or you don't.
That's what I thought.
So is it safe for me to say? Is it safe to me to say a good cop is only good as his informant?
Well, yeah, honestly, yeah. If it wasn't for the intelligence, the work couldn't get done.
So basically, no. I wanted to be clear. If it wasn't for the informant, a cop is shit. A cop can't do nothing unless he has an informant.
I mean, in terms of there's two things. There's a pickup and there's a report. A radio run. A pickup means you riding around, something's going down, you hop out. It never came over the radio, you take police action. A radio run means somebody call 911, you're expected to be somewhere, and somebody's waiting for you to respond. And then the third thing is things that don't get 911, nobody sees, that have to get reported later. Those things, that third thing, the things that just require investigations, if it wasn't for informants and other types of intelligence, those,
So
there's very little that the detective could do. I mean, you have electronic intelligence today, cameras,
the shot
phone records, shot spotter. There's different things there, but there's nothing like the human eye. You know what I mean?
Well, does that make the job easier, or does it make it more efficient? Does that just make it easier? So I don't have to. I can just get this guy to say something, or does that make it more efficient? So in court, this case is solidified.
I mean, listen. If it wasn't for information, for intelligence, sometimes that you don't even know where to start. Intelligence carries everything. You know?
That's my point.
Well,
that's my point. That's my point. I wanted to say, like, a cop. I always say this: a cop is only good if his confidential informant telling him information.
In terms of
if he don't know no information, all of that running around the neighborhood, driving around, that don't mean nothing. He needs somebody to tell him something.
I mean, listen, in terms of investigations, intelligence is the core. But it's not to say that there's not legitimate pickups. I'll tell you, I'll never forget August 6th, 2011. I had to arrest this dude. Craziest arrest. One of the craziest things I've ever seen in my life, man. This dude.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, man. I remember I was at Utica Eastern Parkway train station. It was a warm night. It was like just after midnight. I was working the midnights at the time. And it came over as an assault, right? A woman being assaulted by a man on the train. I go downstairs, and pardon me for those that are squeamish, but this man had his whole penis in this woman's mouth, right? And she was knocked out. And my partner and I, we had to use a little force. We got him off. His penis was still out, man. We got him off, and we put him in cuffs, and the woman was just knocked out. My partner goes to the hospital with her. I go to the station house with the suspect, and as I'm getting his information, I noticed that his address was in Harlem. I didn't realize it was a shelter, but it was in Harlem. I said, "This is in Harlem." He was like, "Yeah, it's a house for people who are positive." So I'm writing the information, and I'm like, "Wait, what? What you just
say that again, man? Say it again. I hear that.
He said, "It's a house for people who are positive," and it was a delayed reaction for me because I said, "What do you mean?" And he said he tested positive for HIV in '99, right? So this is 12 years later in 2011. So he had been living with HIV for 12 years, and that's when my partner called me and was like, "Yo, the woman suffers from narcolepsy. She's not supposed to travel alone, so she could just fall asleep." So it was just like the worst alignment where. So whenever you have a sex crime, you got to call special victims. The special victims detectives get there. They give him his Miranda. He waives it, and he just starts talking. He's giving us details that you can't. He said he was at New Lots, the last stop. The train pulls in. She's knocked out. At first, he was a good Samaritan. He tried to wake her up so she could it's the last stop. Wake up. Just like when it's on Flatbush on the junction. Mm-hmm. And then he said she didn't get up, so he thought she was a dope fiend. He said he sat down to read the Metro and noticed she had really nice lips. And then the rest is history. Yeah. Crazy, man. Crazy.
What kind of shit?
I know, man. And I had to arrest this dude. And, at court, it's my first time at grand jury. They tested him because he was a little out of it. And he didn't have HIV. He had full-blown AIDS. Like full-blown AIDS. Yeah. Yeah. He ended up putting 18 years for that, and you actually don't really get that much time for sex crimes, believe it or not. You got 18 years.
What they charge? Is that attempt murder? How does that work?
No. So it's a criminal sexual act in the first degree. It's like rape. It's the same. You get the same time for that as rape in the first degree. It's just technically rape is the definition of rape is penis and vagina, and because it was oral, it's called criminal sexual act, but it's essentially rape.
Wow.
So Pop, I gotta tell you, you know what I mean?
Listen,
it's good that we were there that day.
Listen,
you know what I mean? Tell you, her husband
I'm listening to you.
Her husband tried to hit me off like, yo, I was like, well, you pay your taxes, brother. I got paid for that. Like, you good. He was so upset. He wanted the dude's name. And I get it.
I get it too.
You know what I mean? And I feel bad. Everybody always asks the same question. What happened to the woman? Honestly, I don't know. At grand jury, her job was to testify to the jury that she has the medical condition and she doesn't remember a thing, because that shows not. In sex crimes, the burden of proof on the prosecutor is the lack of consent. So if somebody was asleep, obviously they wasn't consenting.
Right.
And he buried himself. He was saying how her teeth were clenched. When he said that, he buried himself. You know what I mean?
So you don't know what happened after that situation?
I don't. I feel bad. I don't even like telling this story.
That's
I couldn't
crazy.
believe I saw all that, man. Like I couldn't believe I walked in on that. You know what I mean? But I'm glad.
So,
but
I want you to clarify that. Not clarify, but you say you actually walked in on that?
Yeah. Somebody called out. So this is the part I was gonna get to. The one thing that bothers me is there were 6 men in that train car. You know what I mean? Why was he able to do that? And listen, I've seen situations where good Samaritans get stabbed up, get shot up, and it's sad. There's a situation in Florida where a father just got killed. We got this white young man who just got stabbed up in Bed-Stuy, by an 18-year-old like last week. So, but when you got 6, I mean, I guess they don't know if he has a gun. I don't know, but it was 6 men. One of them decided to call 911, thankfully, and he called 911 at Junior's. If you waited 2 more stops, the train would have been inside the tunnel. There would have been no service for that. So I'm glad he called because we handled it, and this dude still locked up. He got 18 years, so he's still locked up.
He should have got life.
What's your idea of a perfect cop, or is there such thing as a perfect cop?
Perfect. I mean, I don't know if I want to give the word perfect, but
to me, perfect, anything is going to be 90%. 90.
Okay. So by that definition, a perfect cop is one that knows when to switch the hats. You know what I mean? You got to know when to high five the 5-year-old coming out of kindergarten, and you got to know when it's time to, to be a little bit more aggressive. You got to respect your community. You got to, you got to understand that people, you can't size everyone up to whatever crimes they do either. There's a lot of, let me tell you, there's a chapter that I wrote in here that I let someone read who's a cop, right? And when I told her the young man's name, she was like, yo, I know him. I said, yo, how's he doing? I was scared because, he was a little knucklehead.
Okay.
She was like, yo, he just bought his girl her second salon. He's doing his thing. I was like, can you please make the introduction back? So she sent him the documentary, and he was like, yo, I know this Haitian cop. When I was a knucklehead, he used to drop gems on me. I like that. He was like, that's the reason I switched up my whole life. You know what I mean? There was another young man I wrote about, Guyanese young dude. He was snatching iPhones. He had 4 felonies. He had 5 felonies at 15 years old. I dropped gems on him. I ran into him like 5 years later. He was coming out of Mega Evans. He listened. You feel me? So we could have sized him up to those robberies when he was 15, but I dropped those gems. He listened, and he's a college graduate doing his thing. I haven't had contact with him for years, but before I even knew what he was doing, I knew he was doing better. Because every time I went to Coney Island, I would see his poster. Not wanted, but special attention, because this is a robbery recidivist, as it's called. And then after like 2-3 years, I would go to the back and I didn't see him on the wall. So I knew he wasn't reoffending. And then when I ran into him at Franklin Avenue, I was like, yo, I don't know if you remember me, but when you was, he's like, I remember you, man. I was like, what's up? How you doing? He's like, I just came from school back at Evans. I was like, oh, thank you for letting me know I didn't waste my time. You know what I mean?
That's what's up. That's what's up. Was writing the book therapeutic?
Brother, man, there's things in here I never said out loud to myself, man. It was very therapeutic.
That's what's up.
Very therapeutic.
Man. And did you write most of it? Like you said, I heard you say you was on the rooftop for some, and I heard so like, what was your travels like? What was your headspace like? What was your space like when you was writing it, or however you did it?
So for the flashback, I was on the rooftop. You feel me? Because I wanted to be in the space where it all happened. You know what I mean? The state, literally the blocks I walked, literally the air, you know, the space I was at. You know what I mean? So yeah, I was on the rooftop doing the flashback chapters. The other chapters I would do really anywhere. You know what I'm saying? But the flashback, I would just sit up in the car sometimes. I'd just be on Newkirk 2/5, 2/6 Rogers. You know what I mean? Flatbush sometimes. Foundation. You know, shout out to Sean and Curtis on Foundation.
Yeah, that's dope, man. This book is gonna, you know, just you telling me how the order went, and you know, just I knowing your story, this is gonna be one of those, man. Like,
yeah, I can't wait for you to be the king.
Yeah, no, I'm on it, bro. I'm on it. I want to, you know, I might even have to get on my groupie shit and get an autograph or something.
I got you, man. I got you on Saturday.
Right.
Don't worry about that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
we need. I mean, yeah, definitely. You know, Sonny's the reading
You know
guy.
what I'll do? I'll find a couple, and just like you could give them out, like raffle them, whatever, raise money for organization, whatever. I'll sign. I'll probably drop 20 on you. I'll sign them. You know what I mean?
No problem, brother. We here.
That's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna try to we're gonna get on it tonight with just trying to get a surge going with them tickets, because like you said, that's home. The King's Theater is a classic, it's a landmark theater. You a class act. This book is legendary. I'm excited. Do you like what was the aftermath? Like, what was the update with what was it, 12 you guys, or was it 11 you guys?
It was me, right? Leading 11, 12 in total. I'll be honest with you, man. This isn't an easy fight, man. And out of everybody,
it don't look like an easy fight.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm the only one without children. You know what I mean? I hope to be a good father. I'm gonna be a great father. I hope to be a father one day.
You're gonna be a great father. I thought you had kids.
Yeah, I don't, man. I can't wait. One day, you know what I mean? But everybody else, you know, they were parents. The way I was able to sacrifice everything and get tunnel vision into this fight, unfortunately, they weren't able to do the same. And some of them, they told me straight up, if they could do it again, they probably would have done it. It cost them too much. You know, everybody's walking around. We went from 700,000 stop and frisk to less than 50,000. We went from 65,000 people arrested a year for weed to less than 500. You know what I mean? The numbers are great, but their lives are in shambles, man. You know what I mean? It's a terrible trade-off for them.
We was talking about information, not to bounce around, but you said something just now, but we was talking about information earlier when Pop had asked something. How you think social media plays into the effect of what's going on now? Does it help? Does it hurt investigations? Like, how do you think with that?
It depends. It depends on who you're asking. Like, in terms social media, let me tell you, this younger generation, they don't have a real concept of privacy, right? And you can't blame them. Some of them were sonograms on MySpace before they had a voice. You know what I mean? Like, you can't even blame their first steps was on Facebook. Right. You understand? So
I never thought about it like that. I always think about them getting in their hand, but you're right. Before they even come out,
they don't have a concept of privacy. Like, you know what? Okay, with sex crimes, right? One of the most important burdens is not identifying the victim, right? You know how many times on Instagram I've seen somebody, a Generation Z, you know what I mean, somebody born after 99. You know how many times I've seen them, like a young lady on the gurney, on, with the selfie video talking about, yeah, I just got raped, and I'm like, wait, what? This ain't content. You know what I mean? They can't help themselves. This is they were born with iPhones in their hands. You know how powerful an iPhone is? Right. I mean, like the fact that is normal to them. You understand? The idea, social media to them is what remote control television was for us. Like, you know what I mean? Like us, it's just part of their lives. So when the ones that are up to other behaviors is putting their whole lives on social media, you can't even blame them, man. This is just how they operate.
Yeah, I never really thought about that.
That's true.
That's definitely deep, man.
Yeah, but the bigger picture, my brothers, is instead of focusing on the fact that they're telling on themselves, and this might sound cliche, but I want them to be in positions where there ain't nothing to tell about, man. Like, I want them, you know what I mean?
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Picture, man. You feel me?
Why we hiding?
Right. I mean, policing is necessary. People always say that, oh, you can't. If we said right now we're gonna jump 50,000 people that say F the police, right? We're gonna drop all y'all in a state like Wyoming where there's nothing there. First thing you're gonna have to do is set policy. You know what I'm saying? With freedom, seriously, freedom, equality and justice. They come in
That's a
hand.
fact.
So with freedom, I can smack you. With justice now, it keeps the scales. Now it makes us equal. Because now if I smack you and you smack Popeye, we get the same. Like, you know what I'm saying? It keeps checks and balances. People act like
let me tell you what I tell.
police.
Let me tell you what I tell folks. Right? I say, picture the best utopia, the perfect society. Right? They said, okay. I said, the society got rules, right? Yeah. I said, who's enforcing those rules? I said, you don't have to call them police, but unless you got somebody to enforce some rules, it's just ink on paper. You feel me? Throughout history, it's always been people to make sure people are within the rules. You don't have to call them police, but they police, right?
Right, definitely right. Because thinking about history, you had, the guards outside the kingdom. You had the overseer at this point. You have, overseer might be different. That might be more like penitentiary kind of thing on the inside. But that's like you said, those be other conversations, man.
Yeah.
So you feel good with the project? You feel good with your retirement and with things we're looking for the future?
Listen, man, I'm not gonna lie. I took a big risk. I basically jumped without a parachute, but Flatbush gonna catch me. You feel me? I'll be all right.
Nah,
definitely, we will catch you.
Yeah, I'm about to say, man, your mom's is with you. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah, you got angels, man, on your side, man. So you got
Malcolm. Let me ask you.
Theater, and we're gonna keep like I said, it's your platform too, bro. I love kicking it with you.
That's a fact.
Leave the people with something. I know you're not gonna tell us no more about the book.
But can I ask him something, Sonny? Can I ask him something? Edwin, how do you like? This is a little side note because we going all over the place with it. How do you feel like this? Say like remember it was a post on Instagram, like the police, you know what I mean? When they see young women, black, white, or whatever, and they invite them in the car to do sexual favors and things like that. I just want to ask that question, like, how you feel about that?
Nah, that's
bad police.
There's no space for that, man. Because
now hold on. It's not more or less. I'm asking you that. I'm asking you that in the reference of, have you ever seen that or heard about that in your work while you was in New York?
So as a rookie, there was a cop that got in trouble because he used to work plain clothes in transit, and he would take the train all the way up to the Bronx and go see it. But it was his lady. But still, you working in there. You feel me? It ain't time for that. But other than that, I've never witnessed that myself. And there's no time for that. Just wait till you get off of work, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, here to protect and serve, man.
I want to ask you another question too. I don't know if Sonny asked you this before I got on, but in your line of service, when you was working in the NYPD in New York City, did you ever, and I know what you stand for right now, you're against a lot of stuff, but do you ever had to literally had to say that to one of your officers? It's like, yo, stop, don't do that. Like, was it ever a time in your career where you had to really stand up and tell an officer, yo, you going wrong at something?
Oh yeah. He did ask me something similar. I told him it got to a point where they wouldn't even do certain things in front of me anymore. I've had to step in a few times, but the problem is, and I was telling them, it's frowned upon in the culture. But after George Floyd, we're instructed. It's called active bystander. We're instructed to not just stand aside, to stand on the side, but get involved, become active in correcting the situation. That's instruction. But in culture, it's still frowned upon. You know what I mean?
Okay. I mean, I didn't hear that because I was in transition, and I didn't know Sonny asked that or not, but
it's all good.
I wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
I mean, I find that, I find for a brother to do that, and for the Flatbush community, and being a part of the NYPD, and stopping another person to do certain things, and not to come to an effect like George Floyd. I commend you for that. I salute you.
Thank you, King. Thank you. Yeah, and this is why,
I definitely salute that too.
Yeah, 2 years ago, I ran for office, and when you're a candidate, one of the most important things is endorsements. And Jamani Williams endorsed me. That's my brother. He's going to be one of the speakers Saturday. Tamika Mallory, supported me. But to me, honestly, the most important endorsement was Terrence Floyd, George Floyd's brother, who's also going to be one of the speakers. By the way, that Saturday is going to be George Floyd's what would have been his 50th birthday. You know what I mean? So we're doing a tribute. We're doing a tribute for George, and we're doing a tribute for Michael K. Williams, our brother. You know what I'm saying? Because Flatbush never said goodbye properly to Mike. You know what I mean?
Right.
We never said goodbye properly.
That's real. You said, and Malik Yoba's doing the interview.
Yeah, he's gonna be the one to interview with me. But we got another surprise.
You said that
what it is. We got a big surprise. Like
hold on. You say you got a big surprise.
Yeah.
Before you leave out of here, can you tell the people who's gonna be in there Saturday at King's Theater? Tell the people who's gonna be there. And I know you want to tell us the special surprise, but tell them.
Yeah, so the MC is going to be Mia Bell from High 97, right? We got Corey K, the promoter. He's gonna introduce, the evening, and then we're going to do a tribute for George Floyd with his brother Terrence Floyd. Afterwards, the speakers are going to be Dr. Jamani Williams, the public advocate, Tamika Mallory, the Princess of Harlem. We got Sean King, activist, good brother that gets results, and then the lovely Dr. Ilyasa Shabazz, the daughter of Malcolm X. You understand? I opened up the book with Malcolm. That's the book that changed my life. Like the spark that went off when I read that. I read that right in front of my building. You know what I mean? Like I'll never forget. I have a little nightlight. Everybody doing their thing on the block. I'm just hyper focused on the book. And then afterwards, Malik Yoba's gonna come out. Speak to the crowd, bring me out, and interview me about a little bit about my life, a little bit about the book, and then we got a big, big, big surprise. I can't wait for the people to see it.
Yes,
a lot of celebrities gonna be in the audience. You know what I mean? One of the blessings in this journey is, the different, like from Mike Coulter, Luke Cage, Jessica Seinfeld, Tobias Harris from the NBA, Larry Sanders from the NBA, Gregory Sinat from the NFL. Colin Kaepernick, the celebrities that show love is been amazing. So a lot of them are gonna be there that night. But I need my village. You know what I mean? I need Flatbush there with me. That's what's most important to me.
Now we're gonna get Flatbush in the building. We're gonna get the momentum.
We're gonna be in there. We all Flatbush gonna be there. We're gonna tell the people.
We're gonna let the people know. We're gonna get a surge. We're gonna get a surge going. We're gonna fill the building, man. We're gonna get that building full. This is a must. This is epic right here.
Thank you, King.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So we appreciate you, my bro, as usual.
My love.
I always tell you your platform too. You know what I'm saying? Forever Lieutenant. You know what I mean? And forever appreciate all that you've done, man. I'll speak for probably a lot of people who don't even know that you touch. So appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
That's a fact. Edwin, before you leave out of here, you're doing a lot of good work through Flatbush. You're doing a lot of good work through Brook. We recognize what you're doing out here. You took a stand on not being a police officer no more because you became a police officer and you took yourself away from that because you didn't like the way the shit was working and you fighting against it. And we behind you with that. We support you with that. And we salute you with that. We're gonna be there Saturday to salute you. We're gonna hold you down. We're gonna cover all of that for you. But before we leave here, I would like you to say some good words for my man Michael Williams.
Yeah, man.
Which is your brother, my Vanderveer brother. Can you say some good words about him to the people?
Yo, man, that's honestly the toughest part of this journey is him not being there. He saw all of this. We literally had a conversation about King's Theater and my book. Like we literally spoke about this back in 2020, 2019, 2020. It's just one of those people that you're just not going to be able to replace, man. He was special. He was special. And the fact that he's from our community, we gotta make sure that his legacy remains. Like I want that park to be renamed in his honor. That handball court, we should do a mural there for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we was talking about that. We was talking about that.
Like honestly, I think he deserves I think they should rename PS 269 Michael K. Williams, man. You know what I mean? I think 361, whatever it's called now, the school right there.
269, 269.
Yeah, when I
that's
was there, it was
original.
269. You know what I mean? So I think we should have a rigid performing arts program in Flatbush, because that was a beautiful, talented brother that came from our hood and represented us well. And I think the way to carry his legacy is to continue to hold the community down, definitely to hold the youth down. And it's still like, so this is something a lot of people don't know. On Labor Day 2021, I got a call, about Mike. This is about 3 hours before I hit the news. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? You know what I mean? So I go to call him, but I'm like, just in case it's true, I don't want to remember this day where he doesn't pick up. So I call Dom. I call his nephew, he doesn't pick up. So I call someone else, and she confirms it. My heart drops. The first person I call is Malik Yoba. Malik I think he's at a restaurant. He's like, wait, what? And I repeat it. Then I call someone else that's very close to Mike. And I'm working. So I have, as a supervisor, you get a driver, lights and sirens. I go from Flatbush to Williamsburg, and if I say the time, they come lock me up right now. So I ain't gonna tell you how quick I got there. I get there. It's a crime scene. And I see my brother. That was one of I almost wish I didn't get there, man. I see my brother on the floor. There was a slip on his left foot, nothing on his right foot. And I still remember it vividly. The sheets were over him, and I screamed, man. And I'm a Lieutenant Raymond right now. I'm in full uniform. And the captain was like, Lou, you might have to leave. We know this is your brother. You're not gonna be able to work this scene. And then I had to pull it together. I looked at Dom, and I had to pull it together because it was just me, Dom, and Dom's wife. We the only ones there that loved it.
Dominic, shout out to Dominic.
Yeah, Artie started pulling up. BT. I started meeting some of the other family members that I hadn't met before. And then, now, if I wasn't retired, I probably wouldn't say this. But one of my cops was like, yo, it's like 30 cameras downstairs. Somebody leaked this shit. I said, nobody's getting a shot of this body. Nobody. Nobody's even getting the body back. Nothing. So I gave him money to go get sheets. And a sergeant comes up to me and says, I understand that was your friend, but we can't do this. We don't do this for everybody else. And I said, I don't care who reprimands me. I don't care what the reprimand is. Nobody's getting a shot of his body. And then I was so glad I was lieutenant at the moment, because if I wasn't lieutenant, if I was another sergeant, he couldn't tell me what to do, but he could quickly call his lieutenant. If I was a cop, he would have been the sergeant. It was one of the most important days for me being lieutenant. And Mike was at my promotion for lieutenant. So
I remember that.
It was a full circle situation. Because I was lieutenant, I basically told him, get out of my face. And the super of the building was like, Mike was good to us. If we could give him some privacy, we'd appreciate that. So the compromise was, we loaded the body from the bottom of the building, and all the media got was the van leaving. But that was like my last gift to my brother. You know what I mean?
I appreciate that.
I've never shared this.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah. I think Vanderveer and his close friends appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I've never shared that publicly, man. Yeah.
Nah, I appreciate that. You know what I mean, thank you, Sonny. I know you want to say. Thank you for tapping in with us tonight.
Yeah.
It was a real honor to tap in with you. Especially an ex-police. You know what I mean? Ex-police talking about what's going on in the police department and NYPD. It's real great that we can have somebody like you on our platform. Malcolm, talk to him.
Yeah. Salute, my bro, as always, man.
All right, I see Ace here.
Yeah, Ace, definitely.
I'll definitely be there Saturday. I will be in the building. John Ace, a couple of us will be in the building.
I'm gonna definitely hit your line about we're gonna work something out with them books or something, man. Get them
let's do it.
Print out something, give to some kids. Somebody, my son, he just played. We're gonna talk about it.
All right.
All right, my bro.
Listen, Kings, I appreciate you all. I'm home. You feel me? This is my platform too. You know what I mean? I'll be back. I can't wait to see y'all on Saturday. I'll see y'all then, everybody. I can't wait to see everybody from Flatbush. All right, love.
All right, my bro.
We are Flatbush.